Testing, can you hear me now? We're waiting for a few more folks to arrive.
All right. Teachers Advisory Committee on Disability quarterly meeting. We're going to go ahead and start a roll call vote. A roll call, please.
Cecilia Coble,
Here.
Kelly Hartman,
Here.
Wilbur Sutton,
Here.
Katie Jackson, Darcy Keith, Chrissy Pogue,
Here. Darcy's walking in.
Michelle Stelz,
Here.
Jason Wagner,
Here.
Molly Connolly.
Here.
All right. Well, we do have a quorum, so we'll go ahead and get going. Here's Darcy's here. Hi, Darcy. Okay. Next on the agenda is the approval of the previous Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability quarterly meeting that took place September 16th. Do I have a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes? A motion by Wilbur Sutton. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Michelle Stelz. All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, the minutes were approved. Next on the agenda is we're wanting to recognize Shelby Slowick for her years of service serving on this committee, and unfortunately, due to a family circumstance, she was not able to make it today. So we're hoping to get her back next year at our next meeting and give her some love and some recognition for everything she did while she served with us. So next up, we have a guest speaker this evening, Shelly King from Kids Inc. She's going to share more about the program that she runs and some new concept that's happening over here in Fishers that helps people with different abilities. So welcome, Shelly.
Thank you. I wanted to reintroduce myself to everybody. I feel like I know a lot of familiar faces, but I am Shelly King. I have been a resident of Fishers since 2000, and my pediatric therapy clinic is called Kids Innovative Developmental Services, and we service babies up through young adults, and we have physical, occupational, and speech therapy. And during COVID, I had this vision of starting a nonprofit. And yes, it is 2025. It's taken me a while to get it up and running, but we opened November 10th. And I wanted to share with you guys kind of where I am, and as you'll see as I talk about team, I have a really big lofty goal, so I want to dream big and share my ideas, and then as you guys have grown as a committee and expanded what Fishers is, I think that I can help contribute to the same mission and vision that we all have as a community. So I'm going to start by, I'm looking on the big screen here, make it big. Okay, so my nonprofit is called TEAM for short, which just stands for Together Employability Aims for More. And basically, as I go through my slides, I am looking to service all individuals. I know that there's vocational rehab that individuals have to qualify for. There are day programs that are available that would be a fit for another population of individuals, and then there's this huge wide gap of everybody else that kind of is I want to inspire to help everybody, because as families are coming in, the clients that I serve, new clients that I meet, it's really shocking how many people are just not having enough information to guide them into adulthood. And a lot of families that are younger, teenagers, families are hungry for information and help, and I know the schools help and do a great job, but it is just that continuous care and education. As a speech pathologist, I can see those skills and help support, so I will continue on here. So Fishers has this growing gap. We all know that as everybody ages and our growing diverse population just continues to grow, and there cannot be enough support services to help everybody in our community. So we have, aging without support. Again, there's a lot of individuals that age out of school-based services without a clear path to employment. And again, as I'm intaking new clients and interviewing the individuals that are coming in, how many people don't know what vocational rehab is or don't know what's available, no matter how hard the school tries to provide that information. Families are hungry for that information. And again, I am looking to service all individuals. Maybe somebody that may have an IEP and are graduating and have aspirations to do something beyond high school, and I'm just trying to meet the individuals where they're at to try to service them. I know that there are lots of limited training opportunities. Families struggle to find and connect with different community options to build these real-world experiences. I have networked with some other local organizations to kind of work together, and I'll explain that in a little bit. And then businesses, of course, want to help. I think Fishers has done a really nice job of building allies. I know that you started with ally friendships in the schools and expanding onto businesses, and I really think that I would like to continue to network with local businesses to help work with local businesses to educate through a different lens of different tasks or different opportunities to continue to place people in volunteer or paid positions, part-time or full-time. And then leadership opportunities, I just was noting that Fishers has the momentum to become a national leader in disability-forward workforce development. I know Cecilia has led us along the way in really working towards expanding what Fishers looks like, and I know that past behavior predicts future behavior, and I know that the momentum will continue in all your hard work that you guys do. I think we are all invested in our community. You guys have done a lot in 10 years over the past, yeah. Think about where we started as a community. My mission is just for TEAM to create inclusive hands-on training environments that build independence, confidence, and sustainable employment paths for teens and young adults with varying abilities in Fishers. When I was thinking about developing my nonprofit, I really wanted to do a bottom-up approach. I feel like vocational rehab has a top-down approach where they take the job and try to help support the individual in those roles or what they're looking for their employment. And so where I'm coming from as a therapist is I'm looking at those executive functioning skills. And I really want to build from the bottom up and help employability skills that will help make jobs sustainable and not just achievable. So what I've been doing is I've been working with my plans that I have to help with job coaches to help really pair the two skills together to help make the job more sustainable. And things that we're working on are preparing for the day, being on time, following routines, managing stress. I know that there's a lot of individuals that I've interviewed during their intake process that get very stressed out with a job and they just quit. And they are looking for the next job but don't have the skills to then learn from what they had as a previous experience to then transition and learn new skills for a new job that might be a better fit. So my team training center is just building skills through real work. So I am located at 96 in Cumberland. I am busting at the seams. My nonprofit is embedded inside the Kids Inc. clinic. And I did that because I wanted to have the protection of the profitable business to help support the nonprofit business. We all know how difficult it is to raise money and support nonprofits. And so I started with embedding the nonprofit within the clinic, and I'll show you how it's all integrated. So at my current location, my plan is I've already opened One Day Cafe. It's a fully operating coffee shop that is open to the public. It's open for families that are in the clinic, in the waiting room, while we're servicing their children or teens. And then in that coffee shop, we're working on customer service, food prep, money handling, cleaning, all those skills. And then I'm going to have a modified grocery store. In the modified grocery store, we can have skills participants working on stocking, sorting, managing inventory. But my clients that are in feeding therapy on the Kids Inc. side can have that experience of grocery shopping, choosing familiar foods, letting them pick what they want, and then the two integrate together. And then the third one that I want to open in 2026 is the Take and Bake meal station. So team individuals can have the skill set of assembling, packaging, having customer interface, and the families in the clinic or open to the public can have individual or family style meals to have take and bakes to take home. And then building an inclusive workforce through local partnerships, again, expanding and connecting with the Fishers businesses that are committed to inclusive employment. And you guys have already started that momentum. I have a lofty goal of eventually having a Team Fishers, a Team Zionsville, a Team Carmel, where there might be another therapy clinic that can open up the nonprofit and then have the local businesses that are tied to our community in Fishers have a smaller network to try to have success and better communication and networking. Our training opportunities, team provides training, businesses provide part-time and full-time opportunities, whether paid or unpaid, for experience. Community recognition. I really feel like leading by example of what inclusion can look like. Those are modeled for our families that come to the kids clinic, and we can really extend this out into businesses so that they can display the team logo to signal to the community that they're committed to inclusion. And then, of course, having a shared mission of autonomy through employment. I'm telling you, I'm going to dream big, so I'm going to keep going on with my ideas here. So that's for 2026, and then the next step is this medium-term vision, where I envision the Kids Inc. side of the clinic, where I have kids to teenagers on the therapy side of the clinic, and then having an employability side. And I really want to expand the teen training center so that there is a teen and young adult section, so they feel like they're coming to a really cool place to learn all of these skills. And then again, there's more environments for skill building and independence. And then I'm building more of a comprehensive skill building ecosystem. So I have this idea of having this commissary kitchen to extend past the take and bake meals, to have a rentable kitchen for food trucks or for Fisher's Farmers Markets, to work on training, cooking, chopping, and assembling. That will help support our local community, and then we can have a co-branded inclusion partnership with Fisher's businesses. So again, they could be logoed and spreading the mission into the community. I envision this space potentially where there could be a hub where I have families that have a service. There's a lady that has a sensory-friendly haircut business, and she wants to open a salon where the families can come and get their hair done, but also their children can come. And again, thinking about this big ecosystem. And then the individuals can utilize the hair salon as a training facility to help learn some skills there. And then I would like to potentially have a partnered nonprofit space where maybe there's vocational rehab or other organizations that help synergize for the community, so families have a place that they can see is a viable part of the community, where we can all have a hub and a unified service area. And then I put a flagship facility that reflects the heart of Fishers. So I want to have a larger cafe, a fully functioning grocery training store, the commissary kitchen with potential food truck bays, the sensory-friendly hair salon, maybe a potential retail maker space. We can even go as bigger as having an outdoor market corridor, and just having a more nationally recognized model of community inclusion. So I really want to dream big, see where life takes me, and I just want to really impact the community. It's my community, and I just want to be able to support people that need services. So I had the opportunity to be on the news. I was the top trending story, so I was excited about that. And is it okay if I play the video? Okay. Let's see if I can work technology. I did join the 50-year club, but I still can do technology. Okay. So we're going to hit play. Uh-oh. Is there... We had this working before. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got you. You didn't do anything. You did it all right.
I know.
You did it perfect.
Thank you.
I don't want it to be
No,
really loud.
I appreciate that.
All right.
I'm going to tap it so that all those grounds fall into that.
Well, there's something brewing in Fishers that is helping young people.
Let's restart it.
I'm going to tap it so that all those grounds fall into that.
Well, there's something brewing in Fishers that is helping young people learn life skills and find jobs. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta has the story from Hamilton County.
It's not what you'd expect to see inside a kids' therapy clinic.
Gingerbread latte. You want hot or cold?
A fully operational coffee shop.
Circle, circle, and then bring it close.
Open to any customer looking for a hot cup.
And go all the way around.
But a special mission is on this menu.
I'm a little bit nervous.
It's Avery's first day for hands-on training at the coffee shop. It's not just for clients at the clinic, but is open to any person with disabilities in the Fishers area thirsty for job skills.
She was so quiet, and since she's been here, her confidence, her sense of purpose, her joy, and her just sense of fulfillment and confidence has grown so much.
I like the people here because they're lovely and they're nice.
Starting around 18 years old, many people with disabilities face the cliff, a sudden loss of services after high school graduation. So Shelley King started a nonprofit called TEAM to help anyone age 14 through adulthood gain job skills.
Customer interactions, cleaning skills, assembly, budgeting, inventory skills.
And then how do we get 50 cents?
Things that can apply to any job. Daily life, it's called executive functioning skills. So really we're looking to teach them the confidence to apply it in any job that they go into.
And that's why it's called One Day Cafe. They're not meant to stay at the coffee shop.
Jenna,
It's only the training ground.
Possibilities of what's to come. One day I can be independent. One day I can be confident.
And that's why the coffee shop is looking for companies in the local community to provide employment opportunities.
Open-mindedness of what inclusion looks like. And it might not look like a traditional job. That can be a task-oriented skill that maybe if somebody says, gosh, I could really use somebody to help me with this task, reach out as a therapist. I can come in and say, here's some ideas.
A coffee shop making connections.
We put our cup under, press the double shot button. Nice.
The networking has been mesmerizing. I love the joy that it brings to families. I love the joy that it brings to other colleagues, other nonprofits that are cheering me on.
And now a special call for businesses to step forward.
Why do people have jobs?
is to make money and pay their bills.
Independence for a person like Avery can start with a job.
Because any little bit, no matter how small, can change one person's life.
Great story, Kylie. A reminder, the coffee shop just off I-69 and 96th Street is open to the public. Shelley King has big plans for the future. She's hoping to open a modified grocery store at the clinic for more training opportunities.
Thank you.
I will share that we have been in connection, not necessarily Shelley and myself, but my job coaches and Caitlin, who's on your team, and have a couple students that are kind of piloting a couple different things. And the job coaches were kind of taken back when they were first talking to her. And of course, our job coaches go in and they're like, okay, ready? And they're like, no, we got this. And our job coaches are like, what? So she's like, I sit in my car. I don't know, because and not because they don't trust Caitlin, but because that's just, this is what we do until they're independent. So it's kind of been a nice connection or whatever. So very excited. I think that I didn't even know about all the other plans that you had. Not that I'm surprised, just knowing you, but I think they're lovely, and I think the concept is something that is totally different and new, and definitely should be embraced by the community. So I thank you.
Thank you. I think,
From the schools and from me.
yes. I feel like as I'm starting this venture, it's shocking but not shocking how many individuals have failed in their voc rehab job and they just quit. And we are working with one current young lady who's graduated. She is wanting to work and she's nervous to make the leap, and so she started with her voc rehab, and I said, let's work together with the job coaches because they can take the skills that I'm teaching and apply them out in the community where she's at. And it sets people up for success. And as a therapist, I have a different lens to look through. And I have so much information to offer from the ground up that everybody benefits from. I have a range of different abilities of clients that I see in ongoing therapy, and I take all of these strategies and I apply them across the board at all different levels. And it's just mesmerizing how helpful it is. It's just trying to figure out how to grow and how to work together. And I always watch the community, watch you guys from a distance to see what great impact. And it's so exciting and contagious. And so I'm going to kind of, fold into what you guys are doing, and hopefully we can all just work together to figure out next steps or how we can work together, because I'm really excited about it.
It's wonderful, Shelley. It's exciting.
Thank
Any other comments from our committee? Anybody have questions or comments?
So Shelley, this is for teens and young adults. Turn your thing on. Sorry. This is for teens and young adults. How old, because I just got a request today from a person who's experiencing brain injury, but I think he's more of an adult. I'm not sure at what level, because I want to refer on. And
I feel like I'm willing to work with anybody to
Okay.
see where they're at and meet them where they're at. I've even had some adults that are parents that are diagnosed with autism that are asking for my help to help them with parenting, and
Okay.
it just unfolds to other opportunities.
Okay.
So I'm willing to problem solve and figure it out, because there's always some level of something that I can help with.
Okay, thank you.
This is Jason. Do I need the microphone?
I don't think so. I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, my name is Jason, and I focus really on the deaf and hard of hearing community here in Fisher. So if you need any resources in regards to our community, feel free to contact me. I have a close working relationship with the school for the deaf as well. And many of our graduates, once they leave school, don't have a plan for what they're doing next in their life. So it'd be great if we connect with your program as well, we could support each other.
Yes, that would be amazing. I am also working with a variety of other schools like Independence Academy to really help bridge the gap. I have a client that goes to the, I can't remember what school she goes to, but I think she goes to the Indiana School for the Deaf. She's young, way younger though, but yeah, so I have some connections specifically, but I would like one connection to kind of help connect older graduates. Thank you.
Wonderful. Shelley, are you also willing to work with other, you said nonprofits that maybe day
Yes.
programs or something, that have individuals that might?
Yes, for
Be-
sure. I've been talking with Jen at Be Free Bakery, and then kind of bridging out to their job coaches at Janus, just to kind of help network and support each other. And, everybody's so helpful, and we all want to help each other out, and really that's how it should be. We should all help each other out to help.
That's great, that's great. So it's open 8 a.m. to noon, Monday through Friday?
For now, it's Tuesday through Friday, 8 to 12. My plan is to open it full-time, but I had to take baby steps. So I'm going to be looking for, hopefully in January or February, to open it full-time with a cafe manager. Caitlin is going to be having her baby in February. And then I just found out on Friday I have my first fundraiser for Barn Raisers in March. So I'm very excited about that. So as I gain momentum, hopefully it can continue to expand to other hours.
Wonderful. So let's stay connected, and I think you have the information on the Allies for Disability Employment to get
Yes.
connected with that group too and
100%.
everything.
Now
Great.
that I'm on, understanding what,
Great.
that was the meeting this morning, correct?
Right.
Yeah. I made a mistake. I wrote the wrong thing down.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Congratulations. This is awesome, and let us know how we can continue to support as you move forward.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to new business. I wanted to just let everybody know to have your calendars marked for the dates for our next 2026 Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability public meeting. So April 14th, 2026, June 9th, 2026, September 15th, 2026, and December 15th, 2026. So please mark that on your calendar. We're always interested in having people come to our meeting in person. And of course, want to make sure that we've got it all down on our calendar so we can plan accordingly. So are there any questions on the dates? So we've got our dates set up. Next, we're going to talk about, this is an exciting new program that just came about with this most recent city budget. In talking with the mayor, he was really receptive of our committee providing a matching grant program, an ADA matching grant program that will start out, I think it's open for business right now, right?
It'll open in early January.
Early January, yeah, I was gonna give out the dates. January 1st through February 20th, and these are matching grants of $2,500. There's 4 $2,500 matching grants for a total of $10,000 that our committee can grant to organizations, businesses, to help them be more accessible and accommodating in our community. And the winners of the grants will be announced at our March kickoff on March 2nd. So this is a fairly new, this is a new program. And so kind of wanted to share a little bit about what's required and all that, but there are some requirements. We can match up to $2,500, so you could do less if you needed to. And some of the things that are going to be considered are any potential accessibility and improvement that needs to be done, such as lower counters, tables, seating to 36 inches or less, widening existing pathways to achieve accessibility, ensuring common areas have ample turning space for wheelchairs, maintenance and repairs to existing ADA equipment, retrofitting existing facilities to better accommodate individuals with disabilities, wheelchair ramp construction or repair, push buttons for ADA doorways, upgraded restrooms with extra wide stalls, purchase and installation of adult changing tables and Hoyer lift, addition of ADA parking spaces, pavement marking, signage. You can purchase Culture City sensory kits and tools for facilities, tactile braille inclusive signage and for restrooms, exit routes and room numbers, names, providing assisted technology such as assisted listening devices or text-to-speech reader technology, Proprio console and interpreting service fees for on-demand virtual ASL interpreting, purchase of water wheelchairs, purchase of evacuation chairs for upper building floors, trail-ready off-road automatic wheelchairs, transportation improvements, and other infrastructure improvements that will remove barriers and improve accessibility and inclusion. So this is really exciting. So we're going to be launching this program out and getting it out in the community for awareness and for people to apply. So it'll be starting January 1st and goes through February 20th. And then the winners will be announced March 2nd here at the March Disability Awareness Kickoff event at 8:30. And then the funds will be dispersed in March upon receipt of a signed memorandum of understanding. And the projects are to be completed at the end of the year of 2026. And there's some criteria. So I don't know if you want to say anything else about it, Molly, but.
I think we'll have all of the information online by the end of the first week of January, and it will list the criteria of, wanting to be a sustainable, maintained improvement. And so in the description will be all of the criteria.
Awesome.
I do think just for this committee to know, because you'll be talking to people about it, is that it is focused right now on infrastructure. So transportation's really not a part of this. The other thing to think about is this is not limited to not-for-profits. So this is for, those businesses that don't have ramps, don't have handrails, don't have a door big enough to get through, you know, to be able to get a 50% discount on making that kind of change to your business is amazing. So I would definitely get the word out, because I think it's
I
awesome.
would second that, of trying to tell folks that you know now, because it is a pretty tight turnaround
Yeah.
from having just over a month to accept applications. So if you know folks now who are in need of infrastructure improvements in this area, I would tell them to keep their eyes peeled for the first week of January.
And can you clarify where we can find the information on this grant? Where will this be posted online?
I'll send a link to the committee, but it'll be posted on our March Disability Awareness Month page, and then also on our accessibility page.
So can we start forwarding this information out to people?
We can
Now or
send
not
the
yet?
attachment out now, but it won't be available
Until January,
accepting
okay.
it. Yep.
Okay, so we'll get everybody the link, and then we'll start sharing the link and everything. And I just want to thank the city council for approving this in the 2026 budget. I think it's really important. Last year, in talking to some folks who use wheelchairs, you know, they were saying there's some strip malls that, some of those strip malls might need access, better access. There's some barriers to enter into that strip center to enter some of those businesses. And so those are kind of some ideas as to why this grant program came about. So if you are out in the community and you happen to see something that maybe could use improvement, you know, that's a way to share this information with the businesses or the building owners, or to say, hey, you know, we have this matching grant, why don't you apply and see how we can help you make it more accessible. So are there any other questions on the grant program?
We'll accept all of the applications online in Viewpoint Cloud, so we'll link to those on both of the pages.
Will you make sure that PR gets that out on social media channels as well?
Yes, they have a promotion plan, thank you.
Awesome. All right. The next thing we've got going on, and this already opened up, is the March Disability Awareness Month award nominations. And so it did start December 8th. We need to get the links out to the community. And so we are asking folks to nominate people for our yearly March awards. And the deadline is February 9th, so we're gonna get those links out to people as well. And so just to recap, that there's 3 awards. The Life Without Limits Award, who we honor an individual with physical and/or intellectual disabilities who has demonstrated outstanding contributions to the community of Fishers by promoting inclusion, independence, and eliminating barriers in the community. We have a Cornerstone Employer Award. It honors a business or individual that has shown an exemplary commitment to providing inclusion, career training, employment, and/or advancement opportunities to persons with disabilities. And then we've got the Accessibility Award, and it honors an individual who makes exceptional contributions to advocate and/or eliminate barriers in aspects of community life to ensure persons with disabilities can access and participate in programs, activities, and events. And these winners will be announced also at the March Disability Awareness Month kickoff event on March 2nd here in this theater building at 8:30 in the morning. So we'll get those links out ASAP to everybody, so you can forward it, you know, to the schools, to businesses, to people you know in the community. So I would really like to see a really long list of people for these awards. So are there any questions? Anything? Awesome. Okay. So speaking of March Disability Awareness Month, I wanted to just share the schedule for March and just save the date. So the kickoff is March 2nd here in City Hall Theater, and that's open to the public from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then there is an arts reception. We're working with the Fishers Arts Council. The arts reception will be here and in the corridor in the buildings here, March 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. And we have a new event. It's Disability Employment Panel Discussion, which will be March 24th at 8 to 9:30 here at City Hall. And then we're going to have the My Point of View Day. It's invitation only, which we will invite stakeholders to come and share their thoughts at the end of March. So are there any questions about the March events? If you could please, also put those on your calendar.
We are looking for sponsorships and have opportunity for people to participate in supporting those events if you're interested. Where would that be posted? On our March Disability Awareness page? Molly? The sponsorship link? Today. Okay, great.
Yes, so if you know of anybody, an organization, we'll get you those sponsorship links. It's now a link versus a form this year. So we would really love to have a lot of sponsors for our event. It's awesome. So we'll get that out to you. Next, I wanted to talk about item number E, workforce employment initiative ideas, and kind of wanted to maybe talk more specifically with you, Chrissy and Michelle, about this idea of doing a little bit more. We've been talking about stickers and trying to get more employers on board to understand the importance of disability employment and get trained on that. And we recently found out that the city of Westfield, the Mayor's Council on Disabilities, launched a workforce development partner program. And it started January 16th, and so part of what I want to try to do and maybe focus as a subcommittee is see what possibility of doing something similar that Westfield has done with their program. And so they launched this program, and it's really interesting. So basically, how you can become a partner in the city of Westfield is if you are a business that currently employs one or more individuals with disabilities in their workforce, and they complete a training program of one or more training modules that was created by the Job Accommodation Network. And then you register for those training modules, you complete it, and you register with the Westfield Mayor's Council on Disabilities, and so then you become a partner, and so there's recognition, and you get a sticker. And so this is just one idea of how to try to get more involvement, more buy-in from the business community. So wanted to see if we could kind of take a look and make that something to explore in a Fisher's way, right? Something maybe similar. So wanted to kind of get everybody's thoughts right now, and maybe we'll put together a subcommittee. And what do you think?
So are you looking at it, I guess I see two ways to look at it, that you could be looking at it as a way to entice more employers, or a way that, excuse me, that you're recognizing employers. I see both, and I think one of the concerns that we've had before is some businesses are like, we don't want that recognition, this is just who we are. But if you do something like this, then for those that want it, okay, I've done the module, now I get my sticker, right? And not to discredit the sticker idea, but then if they choose to do it and want that recognition, if we're doing it to entice employers, I think it's a little different. I think what we see is we are continuing to get new employers. We still have a few that we're still getting the heels in the ground that we're still working with, and we're kind of connecting with the city.
Right.
What I shared today at our network meeting is right now on the school side, we have more jobs than students available for them.
Oh, wow, that's exciting.
So we are lucky enough in our position. Now, my position is very different than that of the adult service providers, just because we're looking for those first jobs and, you know, that experience and that volunteering. And I think that there are some employers that would love the training and the education and that might like that, hey, yeah, I did it. You know, I like seeing the stigma-free stickers, you know, but I don't know that it makes a difference if I choose somebody, maybe if it's one or the other, but I like the idea that the employer has that as an option. So I think if we're looking at it as the employers get the recognition because they're very well, could be a family, could be, do we want to eat here or here? Well, let's go here because they employ, you know, people with all different abilities, as opposed to this mom and pop store or this chain or whatever. So I think it's kind of which lens we want to look at. I mean, I'm sure we'd be happy, as I'm speaking for both Westfield and I shouldn't. I'm sure we'd be happy to meet with Westfield to kind of see what their thought behind it is. I think Westfield's one of the few cities I haven't talked to. I feel like I've talked to Zionsville and all these others, but we're happy to meet with Westfield to see what they did. And happy to
make
put
it
something together.
Fisherized, yeah.
We could Fishers it. But I think it kind of depends on, again, what the drive behind it is. And it could be a dual purpose. But I think that would help lead with what we think is, which way do we want it to focus on? Or do we want to
And
focus
we've
on
had some
both?
feedback that if you recognize the business, then our patrons to that business going, who's the person? And so we've had some concerns as people going, I don't want to be disclosed as that. So I think we would have to be
Voluntary.
voluntary, yeah, absolutely.
Which is why the module thing is nice, because,
Well, it's a resource.
right, it's a resource, but it's also them choosing if they want to put the
To go
sticker
to that
up
next
there,
step,
or
right.
if whatever. And I think also too, and I think it's great, I mean, I want to recognize everybody that works with us and that employs people with various abilities, but I also kind of think sometimes it goes back to that individual that's being employed. You know, do they want that people looking for me? Or do I just
Well, I
want to
think
be
the
in
other
their
thing, and
voice?
we try to
That's
stress
right.
this also, and always have, is we don't want a business to be recognized because they employ people with disabilities.
Right.
Because nobody should hire people because they have a disability. They should hire people because they have mad skills.
Right.
They happen to have a disability, that's even cooler, that they're
qualified.
patient
Right.
and they're willing to look at accommodations. But last year, you guys might remember, I had somebody I wanted to nominate for the employment award. And they're like, we really, really appreciate that, but we don't want that recognition. And that guy that you're talking about, like, I know, because I know.
Right.
You know, I was like, they're like, he doesn't ever want to be recognized that way.
Yeah.
And he's probably the most valuable person on our team, and nobody wants to make him uncomfortable, so thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
And it was very respectfully done, but I do think it has to be voluntary.
Yeah. And I think going to that, having those resources and kind of going to that next level to say, you don't get a sticker because you did it one time, you've got to put some time into it
And it's
too.
still a choice.
And it's still a choice, yeah.
And maybe it's more of recognition of just a partnership of like the business or the employer is really trying. They're trying to be more accommodating. They're trying to learn and get training, you know, so it's a partnership sticker that's optional, but it shows that you're, you know, trying to be a good community partner with our committee, so.
I think, I mean, if you want to connect Michelle and I with somebody at Westfield or
Yeah.
Okay.
whoever.
I was
and then
trying to look
she and I-
online,
Yeah,
yeah.
she and I
Yeah,
can
we'll do-
meet with them and kind of figure out like what generated all this and what their intention was and see what they did, and then maybe we can
I
have
will
a
say that
smaller
one
chat
thing I
about
would
it.
suggest you guys look at when you go there is their PR around disability awareness and employment and inclusivity is over the top amazing. And so they have a product to take to any business, right?
Right.
And I know, you know, I don't think our PR department necessarily has that bandwidth, but it's really good to snag some of that while we're there.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there's ways that we could figure out how to replicate what we can.
Yeah, I was trying to lok for it on the website while we were sitting here, but I didn't.
Okay, well, I will do that, and then we
Okay.
can maybe put together a subgroup to help you out and kind of brainstorm ideas of what we can do. That would be great. The next thing we talked about at our work session was accessibility initiatives, and I was really hoping Katie was gonna be here today, but, much like Westfield, Bloomington now has a program too where, you know, if the committee, their advisory committee, their group of stakeholders go and they help businesses with, educating them on more accessible, making their business more accessible with a list of best practices and things, and then they get a sticker. And so, this is something, again, that I would really like to focus on in 2026 with Katie and a group of other people from the community to ensure that we are more accessible here in the community with regard to entering businesses and seating and things like that. And so I'm hoping to get Katie more involved and to get maybe a few people from this group that would like to help her out, to see if we want to do something similar to Bloomington. It seems like, you know, it's bringing a lot of awareness. So I'll get with Katie and we can talk about it. But I don't know if you have any other thoughts, Amali, on that, or anybody else have any thoughts on that. But I would like for you to just take a look at the Bloomington program and then maybe share some of your thoughts on something similar to that program. With regard to accessibility, I'm going to move to item G. We did find out that there is plans for a wheelchair soccer tournament either in the month of March or perhaps May. So Katie's brother, Jordan Dickey, and his dad, Jordan lives here in Fishers. He is part of a soccer team. It's U.S. Paralympic soccer team for wheelchair soccer. And they're looking to do a 2-day tournament that would include 4 to 6 teams from the top conference of the United States to come and travel here. And so they're looking for our support in maybe trying to find venues that have 2 full-size basketball courts. That's what they need in order to compete. And so I've got them connected with a couple folks, so we're going to have a Zoom meeting, but wanted to put that on your radar. That's really exciting. It's United States Power Soccer Association. And so I don't know if you guys recall, but we used to do the adaptive sports showcase, and so it would be something similar in that we would highlight the soccer and hopefully invite people from the public to come and see them play. It's pretty exciting and it's really cool. They're first class athletes. So more to come, but we've got a meeting kind of set up, but we'll keep you posted. And because of these events coming into our community, it's really important that you know, our hotels, our restaurants, you know, all these places are more accommodating, accessible, and so I'm hoping that we can really make that one of our goals for 2026 is to work with some of the community businesses and share with them that, you know, we're looking to host these groups and they're going to be coming into our community. And so are there any questions about that?
I know one of the things they said is they normally attract about 100 visitors at least, and because I was thinking our Fishers Community Center, but there's no place for 100 visitors to sit and watch in that. So
Yeah, I wondered if we
that's
had
probably why they were looking more toward a high school gymnasium, just because of observers.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely going to reach out to Patrick Schooley, and I think, you know, I don't know if maybe HSC schools, we could, you know, to see. So that I don't know. That's another one that it might be too big of a venue at this point right now.
They probably have March and May.
Right. So, yeah. So, anyway, more to come. I just wanted to let you know a little bit about that. So, Moving on to item H, Molly, I don't know if you want to share a little bit more about that, but we did get an email of an organization that's looking to put on a 5K, accessible 5K, and they need feedback from our group as to how to make this inaugural event for them more accessible. And Molly, do you recall?
Yeah, I have some of the information here. When we get a special event permit application, the applicants are able to denote if the event is accessible and if they would like feedback from our committee. And we've had a handful of those, and this is one of those instances where on June 21st, around like the 91st, 96th, 106th Street, Nickel Plate Trail area, they're looking to have a 5K from 7:30 to 10:30, and just wanted to get our feedback of, in general, when you see a 5K, are there any things that you would suggest to increase accessibility and inclusion? And I know some of you provided feedback of, making sure ADA parking was nearby and gluten-free snacks were available, and just kind of denoting in the registration process that if someone needs additional assistance, they can request that as well. Is there any other feedback, brainstorming from the group?
Well, I don't know if you recall Brad Wall. He had approached us about a Spark Fishers accessible 5K. And so through Marissa with Parks and Recreation, he provided a lot of feedback, and I was thinking maybe Marissa
Okay, I'll follow up with
could
that.
share a little bit of, that experience. But is there any other things that this group would like to share? Jason?
No, you read my mind. I was thinking exactly what you just brought up.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Moving on, Jason, please tell us a little bit more about the Braille printing update. That's item I. That's pretty exciting.
Sure. So I have been working with Molly to really get in contact with the correct person to review the Braille to make sure that everything is up to quality and standards and make sure it does read appropriately. So we've been referred to one person, and it seems like they're not qualified to read it yet. So they referred us to a second person who will assume that responsibility. So right now we're waiting for them to confirm their schedule so we can meet in person to review the Braille. And once everything is good, we can go ahead and start the process with the Braille readers. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, just that our Maker Playground through Fishers Parks does 3D printing, and that's the program that we're piloting, is printing through printing Braille using our 3D printers, and just wanting to make sure that the quality is good before we proceed. And this is more for if we got a grievance and we needed to respond and they asked for us to respond in that format. Or at our customer service touch point desks, we could put text there that lets them know that if they need something in Braille, we can do that with a certain turnaround time. For anything that are like building placards, we order those commercially from a professional business. These are more for quick, one-off conversations that are needed.
That's great.
Jason?
I wanted to add on to that as well. Braille is very unique, especially when you're ordering. That's not a very common industry throughout the United States. So I'm very excited that here in Fishers, we are working on that project to make everything accessible for the blind and deafblind community.
That's wonderful. Great work, Jason. Appreciate that. Okay, we're going to move on to hear more about the ADA transition plan and the updates that are being done. So Molly's going to share a little bit about that.
Yep, we are just working internally between a lot of different departments, including engineering, Department of Public Works, our legal department, pulling together kind of a recap of the progress we've made for NDOT with infrastructure and roadways and anything work in the right-of-ways, push buttons, crosswalks, that sort of thing. And so we're just kind of inventorying and reporting back to NDOT all of our accomplishments and then our goals moving forward for 2026. And so I think it's this Friday at the Board of Public Works, we'll present just our goals and accomplishments, and be able to share that with NDOT, as that's tied to funding and things like that. So just kind of a collaborative update. And then it will be a larger living document that will update each year, just to track all that we're doing. And so not just with infrastructure and roadways and right-of-way, but also the work of this committee is being featured. So we're highlighting all of that as well, with the addition of, all of the things that this committee has done in March and September and October, and all of the months where we do initiatives, but also kind of anything that this committee has done will be featured in that report as well.
Great. So will we be able to get something after they meet then that you could
Yep.
present to us at the next?
Yep, I'll be able to forward that memorandum to all of you on Friday.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Any questions for Molly? Okay, now we're going to do committee updates. Housing, Wilbur, any updates and anything you'd like to share about?
Basically, what the Hamilton County CLT is doing right now is just working on details for the land trust. So they're just in the process of fine tuning a lot of the choices, coming up with what I want to say, coming up with programs and decisions to decide how much land would sell for, or not how much it would sell for, how much it would rent for, just final details, percentages of wealth if the property's resold, just decisions like that. It's a whole process that's going on right now. So we meet once a month, and I'm on that committee. We meet once a month to just try to fine tune things. So it's moving forward.
Wilbur, are there other counties in Indiana that are doing this very, very well?
There are CLTs in other states that are doing it very well. There's a couple in Indiana that are in process, like Marion County's not doing it very well, just as an example. But there's Tennessee does it very well. There's other states that are doing it very well, and we're pulling as much information from them as we can to try to tweak it.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is employment. Chrissy and Michelle, any updates you could give us on the transition program for employers and the recap for the October employment event that we just had?
So like I said, currently for a transition program, we have more openings than we can fill. So it's challenging us to really work a little harder to push some students that might not have been as ready before and try and get them more prepared. We had a great networking meeting
Yes,
today, and
awesome.
where we didn't have as many on the employer side, but we had a lot of adult providers and Christina Blankenship and from VR, and just really talking about ways to help better service people, and in particular somebody that was kind of struggling finding something for a client. And after hearing more, Michelle and I both looked at each other, were like, Darcy. So we reached out to Darcy thinking that Darcy would be a great contact. So with just in a few minutes of sharing it or whatever, we were able to give the provider a few ideas, I think, and ask some good questions to generate with his client, but also connect him with Darcy that we felt would be a great resource, if not maybe for specific places, but areas to look at or strategies to use, because his situation is very unique.
Very unique, yeah.
So it was just really great to see the community working together, and by community, I mean, not just Fishers. Because we have so many employment services from all over the area. In fact, you guys are the only ones centrally located. OPG was there as well, but you guys are a little bit of both. But it was just really nice to see everybody kind of work together and brainstorm and to see how they could better help that client.
That will continue on for the next year. We've got the dates, so Molly, I can get those to you. But really sharing some success stories. Great gentleman who's with the Fishers Fire Department, and that's been a really great success story. He's having some medical issues, but
The job coach was actually on her way to pick up a card
yes,
at the fire station to take to her client,
yeah.
which was very heartwarming to all of us.
And then there's some store, one of the stores up at Hamilton Town Center has just been really, and I actually got to meet that young man today. And he just loves it and was nervous about the transition, but it's been a really good transition, even with the holiday season, and, just really appreciated being able to work at this new place, so, yeah.
We, one of the things that we were talking about too, and I think it was actually from last March, I don't think it wasn't our October event, but that Michelle had shared, or Madison, from somebody from OPG had shared that somebody from that event that was recording music now has a paid, he is his own entrepreneur.
Yes.
Through some work that has been done with his provider and whatnot. So it's just nice to share those stories. It's nice to hear the success. It's nice to brainstorm with people that have been there and done it. It's about working smarter, not harder.
Yeah. And it's some of these, it's a longer kind of like road to some of these versus maybe a traditional job fair, that type of thing. But it's so much, I think sometimes can be much more meaningful because of all the people who have come alongside these folks. And yeah, so we're seeing some good.
And we did kind of talk about deciding if we were going to do something in March as far as what we've done in the past or kind of what was done in October. We're kind of thinking that we're going to kind of read the room as far as the networking group, I think, to decide if we want to do that or if we just kind of want to run with trying the panel discussion with employers that we're doing in March, then build through that, and then in October try and do a little bit more of what we've done. Because what we've done in October the past 2 years, or in 3 or whatever it's done, and what we did one March or whatever, it's working. It's smaller than we want it to, but it will grow, just like everything else, but it's working.
It's making impact on those folks who are attending. And
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what it's really about.
Right. So how did it go in October, the October event?
It went well. We had 4 candidates, I think. Really good information, really good interviews. I think they got some good insight as far as their resumes, good feedback on the interview process that they went through, a couple suggestions going out. So I don't know that we've heard any of the follow. I think most of them were OPG. There was maybe one other that was independent that came that. Did you talk to her most? No, you did. No, Stephanie did.
Stephanie did, yeah.
So I don't know if Stephanie had her contact information, but I'm sure we do through registration. So, I mean,
Yeah, I
everybody
think the
seems to
folks
enjoy
that
that format.
attended were, and I think they
I
really
think it was really
appreciated.
powerful for the people that came.
Good. That's awesome.
And it's not a heavy lift from a hosting an event standpoint, so
And
it
it's
does
not
make it easy.
intimidating because
Right.
it's not big with a ton of people with a lot of booths or whatever. I think it goes back to when the first ones, the job coach was like, I'm just happy they walked in. I didn't even think they'd walk in. And I think they actually talked to 2 people for mock interviews. So that
So
really
a little
said
bit
a
more
lot.
meeting them where they are instead of like walking into a big room with 100 tables and that type of thing, so.
Great job. All right, thanks. Okay, next we're gonna go into community support. Kelly, is there any updates on anything community-wide?
Really, I mean, as far as people who get waiver services, there's been a lot of opportunity to weigh in and understand the changes that go into effect December 31st. I think there were people who were like, oh, well, only if it gets approved. Well, it got approved this week. So there will be changes specifically where that impacts folks. Mostly is we're doing, new level of care stuff and limits on hours with behavior supports, music therapy, rec therapy. Those things were approved by the federal government. There's also something happening intended to be implemented in 2027, which is called a waiver reset. And at that time, they're really looking at kind of redesigning the whole system. So don't be confused. It's 2 separate things. And if you have questions, you can reach out to us directly and I can help.
Okay, thank you. Because there's been a lot of confusion. People think that their services are gonna get cut and things, so.
Because another thing that's happening is they are looking at the top 10% highest cost budgets in the state. The system needs to be sustainable, and that means we should be using what we need, not what we can get, right? And so when you have 30,000 people trying to maximize their budgets, it's a challenge when many of those people could do, with the natural supports they have in their life, there's a lot of people that could probably make great progress towards their best life while also being more responsible with the budget. It's not a golden ticket. You know, it's supposed to be a support as you need it. And so, yes, people, as of December 31st, people are losing services if they were getting more than the new limits. So music therapy and rec therapy are being limited to 6 hours a month. Behavior management is being, behavior support services is being limited to 12 hours a month.
All right, any questions for Kelly?
I just had one thing to raise under community support. I don't, it's not relevant to that, but what we discovered at the Fishers Community Center, at the new community center, is staff are not allowed to help transport somebody onto the adult changing tables, and they're not allowed to transport anybody to help lift somebody into the water wheelchairs. So there's no way to get somebody in a wheelchair into those other accessories that exist there. And what we would like to see is a Hoyer lift, which would take the risk off of employees and DSPs, the direct support people, from trying to lift an individual. And a portable Hoyer lift is about $2,000 basically. And they were saying, where could they store? It would fold up and store under the adult changing table, so it wouldn't take any space whatsoever.
There was a lot of discussion about that pre-open, and it wasn't something they were able to do because it wasn't in budget. So I know we've discussed that. I'm happy to circle back around on that. Are you saying that staff are not able to help lift?
Their staff are told they're not able to, they're not to lift an individual.
Like DSPs?
Yes,
And who's saying that?
the DSP company,
Oh, okay. It's not that rec center is saying that.
no.
Yeah.
But the rec center is saying they're not allowed to help lift somebody.
Oh, yes, that's true. They're not. Yeah, it's a longstanding thing because of the number of injuries. And so usually when people have issues like that, there's a Hoyer lift available in their home.
Right.
And there is not one at the rec center, so.
But we have all these accessories, that there's no way to get somebody in or onto those
So
accessories.
you can't really use the rec center because you don't have a Hoyer lift.
Right.
All right, well, we'll address that, Molly. We'll try to see what we can do to get.
It's not a big expense, and it's.
Right.
When I talk to staff over there, I've actually taken 3 different groups on tours through there. And that's one of the things they ask each time. And what the management over there said, well, we need someplace to store it. Well, I see they'll go collapse flat and they go right under the changing table. So it
Yeah,
wouldn't
that
take
was
any
the same.
floors.
We actually, outside the box, when we thought our home was gonna be there, we offered to purchase it because we didn't care about the budget. We needed the accessibility, and we were told there was nowhere to store it, and it wasn't part of the plan.
So we can revisit that and check with them now that
Okay.
they're open.
That would be
Yeah, I
great.
think maybe now that they're operational, we can revisit that.
Great, all right, thank you. Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
Okay, we're gonna get an update now, networking, social, and accessibility. Darcy, would you care to give us an update on what you're working on there?
Yes, July 11th, please mark that down on your calendar. That is going to be the Accessibility and Inclusion Day at the Fishers Farmers Market. I'm going to need some help with that this year. And yeah, we're excited. I talked to Lorena today. They're trying to become more green. So when I ask at the end of each Marketing Accessibility Day, I ask for feedback. And some feedback, they wanted additional signage, but they're trying to become more green now. So we're trying to look at what can we do to let the vendors have more exposure. So I think they're going to make an announcement on site about the participating vendors, talk about what they're doing. So I think our application process does allow a place for like, what do you do, what do you provide? So we can hopefully provide that. But other than that, yeah, July 11th, everything looks great.
Cool. Great, any questions for Darcy on that? Okay, it would be nice to have, I think, a table. We had talked about having like a tablecloth that would say Fisher's Advisory Committee on Disability or
I have one.
We got it.
an
Yep,
umbrella
we got
and all
it.
that?
We got
Okay,
it this
perfect,
year,
all
so
right.
I have it in storage and we can pull it back out.
Yeah.
All right,
The
perfect.
only, excuse me, the only other suggestion, which I kind of briefly mentioned to Molly last year, was the Fisher's Advisory Committee on Disability, us having a pamphlet or information about us. So if we have a table with the Culture City packets or, they can, or bags to get, that they can check out, having some information about us and what we do and how we can serve, how we serve the community. So a lot of people asked about that.
Okay, great idea. All right, we can work on that. Wonderful. Thank you, Darcy. Great job. We're going to next talk about the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Subcommittee. I know they've been real busy, so Jason, what are some of the updates that your group is working on?
So really, there's 4 things that I wanted to discuss. First thing, I wanted to thank the Fishers Community Center. So they are going to be involved with the deaf and hard of hearing community and receive some feedback to make sure we have complete accessibility. So we will have a meeting in 2 weeks in regards to the aquatic center and making sure we can teach signs and how to communicate with individuals who are deaf and deaf families who are taking swimming lessons. We also have another discussion about the workout and exercises class as well. So in case there is a deaf individual who wants to take a class, how they can provide an interpreter or how they can navigate communications. So again, I want to thank them for all of the support and being willing to listen. Recently, we went over to the firehouse, station number 91, and they hosted an event in conjunction with Ball State University's Family Night. And of course that happened during that bad winter storm, so a lot of families braved the weather to come out, and it was a very accessible event. We had a lot of children who were available to go and see how the firemen dress themselves. They were able to see the trucks as well. If an emergency happens, how that procedure works. They were able to touch the truck, and so I want to thank the Fishers Fire Department for hosting that event. We all enjoyed it. So 2 events that are coming up at the Fishers Event Center. So we have been working with both sports teams, the Ignite team, and that is our volleyball team, as well as the Fuel, our hockey team. So they have agreed to both host a deaf culture night, which is very exciting. And our goal is to expose the local community to who we are, that we are deaf and hard of hearing, and again, just provide more education and exposure to our culture. So the volleyball night will be on March 9th, and that will be at 8 o'clock. And then the event with the Fuel, our hockey team, will be February 11th at 7 o'clock. So we are working closely with both teams to work on advertisement for the events. And once I have the flyers, I will email all of those to you, as well as we can post that on social media. This event is open to everyone. So the flyer will have a QR code with specific sections for all of the deaf individuals to sit together. And again, the goal is to provide interpretation during that event as well. We're also hoping to have captioning on the screen throughout the game. So we will have signers for the national anthem as well, and people who can introduce the players in American Sign Language. We'll have booths for different deaf and hard of hearing organizations throughout central Indiana, provide more resources. So if they have any questions about the community support we can have them go to those desks. We will also have opportunities for the community to meet the players before and after the game. So that is my update.
Gosh, that's awesome. That is so good. That's neat. Thank you very much. Wow, you've been busy, Jason. We appreciate everything you're doing. So hopefully, mark those count.
And then on March 9th, I'm hoping to add an event for our March Disability Month for a volleyball game as well. So if we could add that to that calendar, that would be appreciated.
Great. That sounds great. Wonderful. We appreciate that a lot. Are there any questions for Jason? No? Okay. Now we have the opportunity, if anyone's in the audience, we don't have anybody in the audience today, if they're wanting to come and share with us some feedback or, share what's on their mind or engage with us. So we really encourage people to come to our meetings and to come and share their thoughts and ideas with us at our meetings. So we encourage people to try to come if possible, but we know we have a lot of people that are watching us online, so we appreciate that. Are there any other comments, thoughts about this coming year, Jason?
So, in regards to Orange Theory Fitness, I do have a membership there. So I have been working closely with them, trying to get captioned during the workshops as well, and especially when the coach is speaking during the classes, so we can know how instruction works. Because as you know, with Orange Theory, there's 3 different stations we go through. Also trying to provide captioning with spoken languages as well. Currently, they're working on adding 25 different languages. So we're working with Orange Theory to hopefully get some of those devices, but that is the goal for 2026. So that will be here in the downtown location and also the location on Oleo Road. So if that pilot program is successful, hopefully it will become a nationwide feature, but they are doing that pilot here in Fishers.
Wow, that's exciting. Yeah, thank you.
Jason, how much does one of those cost?
I mean, it's a fairly cheap cost. I think it's $30 for the device itself, but the additional equipment that you have to order to plug into the FN system, that's where it gets a little expensive. So that's where we're discussing with HQ where to get that money to get the auxiliary equipment we need.
Could
They
they
should
look
apply
at
for
the
the grant.
matching grant?
They should apply for the grant.
The matching grant.
Yes.
Yes, that would be an option. I can bring that up to them.
I have one option, one thing that wasn't on the agenda that I just thought of is, do you want to share that the mayor did add the 2, that we have an application out for 2 additional members to our group?
Yes. So at the last city council meeting, there was an amendment to the ordinance, and there is now approval and addition to 2 members on the Fishers Advisory Committee on Disability, so going from 9 to 11. So there are now 2 open seats available. So we are encouraging people in the community, disability stakeholders, to apply. It is a mayoral appointment, so the mayor makes that decision. And so we'll get that link out. I know I've had people already send me an email asking for how do I apply, so we'll get that out.
It's
And
on our
so-
accessibility page. If you go to the Fishers
say
website,
it's out.
under accessibility, at the very bottom of the accessibility page,
Because I've sent it out. Did you
It's
send
out.
it to us?
there's a link. I did send the link to our committee.
Yeah.
But if anyone on the live stream is looking for the
So
link.
it's okay to forward that link to other people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, and that is always on our website for any boards and commissions, but it is on our accessibility page at the very bottom.
And then just want to let people know, so like, even if, let's say, a person applies and doesn't get, chosen to sit on this committee, the formal group through the mayor's appointment, we have a number of opportunities for involvement in subcommittees that we have. Jason's got a hard death and hard of hearing committee. We've got an employment committee. We've got housing and March. And so there are a lot of ways for people to plug in. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in disability inclusion space. So we really encourage people to reach out and get involved. We'll plug you in no matter what. So, but definitely we want to see a lot of people applying for this committee. So So anything else that anybody wants to add or, okay. Well, with that, do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay, motion by, Wilbur, second by Jason. Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming and being with us today. Have a wonderful holiday season.